great card, unbelievable. I mean, the Paddy Pimblett thing right before, you just feel it all in the air. Here we go. I mean, I was expecting at least a one-round war, or, who knew what Conor was capable of as far as cardio or whatever else after a 5-year layoff. And, well, there you go. I mean, we're assuming blown ACL. I'm no doctor, but that's what I figured when I saw it, and doctors think the same thing too.
The anticipation had reached its peak, but what was supposed to be a legendary return collapsed in mere seconds. A moment that should have been etched in the history books instead became a cruel twist of fate, derailed by a devastating injury that no one saw coming. In the aftermath, Conor McGregor found himself heartbroken and took to social media to address the catastrophic leg injury that ended his night before it truly began. He posted a powerful message expressing his disbelief, insisting that the narrative about him looking off during his entrance was completely false. He emphasized how focused and prepared he felt going into the bout, describing himself as mentally sharp, physically ready, and completely locked in. He acknowledged the darkness of the situation, recognizing the challenge ahead, but refusing to let it define him. He made it clear that he would seek strength through faith, vowing to rise above the setback and make his way back to the octagon no matter how long the road to recovery might be. Given the massive buildup and the excitement that had electrified both the fan base and fighters alike, this has to go down as one of the most heartbreaking comebacks in mixed martial arts history. Even Dana White appeared visibly crushed during the post-fight events, having expected at least a competitive opening round from the Irish superstar before things took such a tragic turn.
It's like somebody took my candy from me. I'm just so sad. That's so crazy how...
Daniel Cormier shared his own feelings of frustration following the abrupt ending to Conor McGregor's highly anticipated bout. He expressed that the fans deserved so much more, believing they were denied the opportunity to witness what could have been an unforgettable evening in the world of combat sports.
Just didn't have it there. I can't tell you guys this. I got a text from our good friend, Dr. Brian Suterer, who's always on point when it comes to these things. Didn't see the classic shift like an obvious ACL. I'd say meniscus #1. ACL definitely possible and a concern, but not the definitive kind like we've seen in others. Would fit with some meniscus issues coming into the fight that got worse on the landing. So there you have it from Dr. Brian Suterer, who always does an amazing job pinpointing these things.
Meanwhile, early medical evaluations indicate that Conor McGregor might have worsened a pre-existing knee condition during the bout. Preliminary findings suggest that a meniscus tear is the most probable diagnosis, though the possibility of an ACL injury has not been completely ruled out, despite appearing less evident based on the mechanics of how the injury occurred.
Enter the octagon in the inspection zone. So, hard to know if there was any sort of
Controversy has also erupted around whether Conor was already compromised before stepping into the octagon, with accusations that he concealed an injury just to fulfill his contractual obligation and secure his payday. Fans have been circulating footage showing Conor removing his footwear before making his entrance, and many believe there are clear signs that something was wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I did a UFC podcast before I came here. And me and Wonderboy was talking about it. Even with him walking into the octagon, it didn't seem, it just didn't seem like the same Conor, Like, I thought he was there to fight, but, like, I thought he'd be a little bit more rowdy, a little bit more crazy. He looked, like, really, really calm, like, super calm. So I was just kind of like, oh, wow, let's see how this goes. And then, of course, I knew he was going to attack me with something, and it was a kick, so, it sucks.
Following the emergence of this footage, the MMA community has become increasingly convinced that Conor was dealing with an injury prior to the fight, and if the UFC knowingly allowed him to compete in that condition, it represents a serious breach of trust with the fans who deserve to be reimbursed for what they witnessed. Professional boxer Chase Damore didn't hold back in criticizing Conor McGregor, accusing him of taking millions just to deliver a lackluster performance and then avoiding media responsibilities afterward. He argued that this was a slap in the face, not only to those who spent their hard-earned money on tickets and pay-per-view, but also to everyone who rearranged their schedules, stayed awake into the early hours, or sacrificed other commitments just to watch. He concluded by saying this incident reflects poorly on the entire UFC brand. Max Holloway also revealed that Conor McGregor appeared off even before the opening bell, recalling that something about his demeanor during the walk to the cage felt unusual, which in retrospect made the disappointing result feel less shocking than it might have otherwise been.
Looked like he had a hard time putting out his sneakers. Could he have been injured before the fight?
Oh, I have no idea. I mean, that I don't know. I mean, the day of the press conference, he came running out of the back and ran right up to him and stopped abruptly and, squared off with him. They were pushing foreheads and.
I'm just wondering if something happened within the last 24 hours. I don't see it on the landing, the actual landing of that flight.
Yeah, I wouldn't know that, but I didn't see. The doctors checked him out before they fight, and he looked damn good at the press conference, and he looked fine at the weigh-ins.
It's just a question of getting paid if you step in the cage.
What's that?
The question of getting paid as you step in the cage was.
Well, I don't listen. If anybody saw anything that could have possibly made him look weak or injured leading up to this fight, I mean, what the fucking face-off do? 44 million in 24 hours? More than 44 million views. Somebody would have saw something. Anybody see something? No. If they did, they didn't say it, which is impossible. Nobody would.
Echoing those sentiments, the MMA guru also observed that Conor appeared compromised during his entrance to the arena. He described the sequence of events as a worst-case scenario, noting that Conor attempted a kick within the opening seconds, his foot snapped on impact, and the referee had no choice but to wave off the contest. He lamented that this was the most anticlimactic conclusion imaginable for such a high-profile main event, essentially producing a non-fight that resolved nothing and will likely lead to an immediate rematch. He reiterated that McGregor looked physically compromised even before entering the cage. Fans have been unable to contain their disappointment, having waited so long for this moment, only to see it end in the most unsatisfying way possible. Social media has been flooded with reactions from frustrated viewers who feel cheated out of the spectacle they were promised. A member of the media pressed the issue further, questioning whether Conor McGregor was already suffering from a leg injury before the fight even started, referencing an uncomfortable moment during the official weigh-ins where he seemed to have difficulty putting his shoes back on. The journalist directly asked Dana White whether the organization had any knowledge of a potential injury going into fight night.
So we were talking about the guy over here earlier asking about there being a pre-injury. Just on my accounts, the face-off that day is at 80 million views, right? So if there was a pre-existing injury, somebody would have noticed it. He was limping, put his shoes on, he ran right at him. I don't think there was. Anything is possible, but he sure didn't look like it. And for 80 million just on my accounts, that number's got to be massive, and nobody noticed anything, so there you go.
Yet, despite the growing backlash and conspiracy theories, the UFC responded by releasing behind-the-scenes video evidence showing McGregor moving freely and without any apparent discomfort backstage, even drilling the exact leg kick that ultimately caused the injury during the actual fight. Dana White pushed back firmly against claims that Conor McGregor stepped into the octagon with an obvious pre-existing injury. He pointed out that McGregor displayed no signs of impairment throughout fight week, during the ceremonial weigh-ins, or at the face-off, emphasizing that with millions of eyes watching every move, any significant limp or physical limitation would have been noticed and discussed well before the opening bell.
I had the man weak in the knees, I guess, so. All jokes aside, I just hope he's good. This guy's kids is front row, I don't want to see him take unnecessary damage. Like, man, come on. You call this. He was done. Ref, stop the fight. He doesn't want to fight. The first time he's on the ground, I was punching him. He's like, fight. Fight. I was like, okay. That's why I backed up. I said, stand up there. He just kind of grabbed his leg, and he screamed. He said, ah. And I was telling the ref, come on, bro. I ain't trying to beat up a wounded dog. It just didn't seem like the same Conor. Like I said, I have people, I keep people weak in their knees. And I bounce his head on the mat, so I'll All jokes aside, you guys making me a terrible person. What the hell? I might poke fun and tease him here and there, but that's just part of the fight game. As a person, he's an animal, and I got nothing but respect and love for him.
Still, the fan base remains unconvinced, pointing to additional evidence they believe supports their theory. They discovered footage showing Conor visiting a medical facility just 3 days prior to the scheduled bout.
It was sad to see, you know what I mean, but that's the thing with this sport. You've got to stay consistent, you've got to keep fighting, and I think where he hasn't fought in so long, his body couldn't keep up with it, and coming out and throwing a crazy kick like that first thing, his knee just collapsed underneath him, and I feel bad for him, you know what I mean? He's put so much into coming back and getting back in the octagon, and that happens in the first 5 seconds. You've got to feel for him.
Meanwhile, Max Holloway didn't shy away from poking fun at Conor McGregor's knee injury after the dust settled, though he was quick to clarify that his comments were meant in good humor and not as genuine disrespect. He emphasized that he never wanted to see McGregor endure unnecessary harm, acknowledging that despite the jokes, he holds real admiration for the former 2-division champion.
His career is over.
Yeah.
He knows it.
I just thought he'd be a bit more careful at the start.
They made for a shit main event. He won't be back. Look how mad the crowd everybody is.
You think he's gonna come back? No.
On a similar note, Paddy Pimblett speculated that McGregor's extended absence from competition might have contributed to the injury. He expressed sympathy for the situation, saying it was painful to witness after seeing how much dedication and preparation McGregor had poured into his return.
He's back up, but his right foot is fucked. He's going to have to go orthodox. Worst result ever. I hate this sport. I never want to watch it ever again. Worst result ever. I never want to watch this sport ever again. Conor McGregor throws a jumping kick, completely snaps his foot on the ground. His leg's finished forever, and he never was able to come back. I hate my life! This is one fucking escape I get, and it's shit. And McGregor just limping around like my
Rampage Jackson raised serious doubts about McGregor's future, suggesting that the catastrophic injury could potentially signal the end of his fighting days. He argued that bouncing back from yet another major physical setback at this point in his career would be an uphill battle, making any future return more uncertain than ever before.
It's tough. It's tough. I really wanted him to come back and have a good performance. I thought Holloway was going to win by TKO, so I guess I'm correct. But I didn't want to be correct like that. I wanted to at least see a performance where I knew. Has McGregor still got it a bit? Is McGregor still in the mix? Can he not beat Holloway, but he could beat so-and-so? You know? I was thinking, okay, even if Holloway finishes McGregor in round 4 and McGregor looks good early, does he still beat Dan Hooker if he comes back and fights Dan Hooker? You know? It was just a few of those things where I was just hoping I'd get some answers for what level McGregor's at after these 5 years off. To be honest, he did look a little slow, but it was at welterweight, so that's hard to tell, because I'm used to seeing him at featherweight and in his prime at lightweight, but it sucks, man. I don't know what they're going to do next with him.
The MMA guru responded with raw emotion and shock following Conor McGregor's catastrophic leg injury that occurred within the opening moments of the fight. He worried aloud that this setback might spell the end of McGregor's time in the sport, describing it as one of the most gut-wrenching conclusions he had ever seen unfold in mixed martial arts.
Truly began.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am absolutely devastated. UFC 329 just ended in a wet fart, as Conor McGregor, in the first second of the main event, sprinted toward Max Holloway, as we all held our hopes high in the air that this was the return of the Mac, that maybe, just maybe, potentially he could turn back the clock 10 years from 2026 to 2016 and show us one more time the magic of the Mystic Mac. He sprinted across the cage, took 2 or 3 steps, jumped, and performed a switch kick in midair landing on his right leg and knee, and it immediately buckled. He tore his ACL, potentially his meniscus, and the fight was essentially over before it even began.
Expanding on his initial response, the MMA guru voiced even deeper frustration that the injury prevented fans from getting any real clarity on McGregor's comeback readiness. He argued that the outcome resolved absolutely nothing, leaving critical questions about McGregor's current ability completely unanswered and casting even more doubt over what the future holds for the Irish fighter.
Oh, no, nigga, he faded, bro. He looked at distorted before this fight started, nigga.
Why you keep slipping though?
Look at this. He going for the killer, nigga. Holloway had that look in his face. He didn't.
It's so weird that he keeps falling every time like that. Yeah, not good. Every time he throws, like there's something wrong with his leg. And that's that leg.
You're like, man, why he keep falling? Look at him. Man, shut the fuck up, bro. Man, shut the fuck up. Man, hell yeah.
Dude told him his leg was fucked up.
Yeah, he had to, bro. Okay, now I see it. That's what I'm saying, bro. I seen it in his face. He was distorted, nigga.
Sharing that same sense of letdown, Wade Plemons called UFC 329 the most disappointing conclusion imaginable after McGregor collapsed with a catastrophic leg injury just seconds into the main event. Twitter felt that fans were denied the opportunity to find out whether McGregor could still hang with the elite, as the fight concluded before it ever really started.
Why did he slip twice? What is going on? Yo, this is the most... The fuck am I watching, bruh? Stop. That's... No. Stop, bro. Yo, refund every bet. Refund every bet. Yo, every sports book in America, in the world, better refund that bet right the now. This motherfucker walked out and got injured in 1 second. Okay, fuck this shit. Refund every single person's bet. Immediately. What the f did I just watch? He's a fucking convicted rapist. This is the biggest scam I've ever seen in my fucking life, bro. No, so wait, Conor McGregor, so you're just gonna walk out too? You're not even gonna talk? You're not even gonna say? Nah, you're a piece of... Yo, Conor McGregor is a piece of human, bro. He's a piece of human. You don't even have the decency to talk to your fans.
Dean and AB were just as shocked by what they witnessed, stating that it was instantly apparent something had gone terribly wrong. They highlighted McGregor's immediate physical response following the injury as undeniable proof that the damage was extremely serious.
He was talking about this 170 domain. I put in this 170 work. We worked our asses off here, especially after turning around so fast after that March fight, and to come back. I wanna feel this domain that he's talking about, this 170 corner that he's talking about, this different world. That's what I want. So I know I want to see what his injury is, and as for me, I'm down to come back 2027. With that March fight and this fight, I know I came out unscathed, but I owe my family some time. I owe my wife and my son some time, some family time. So that's why I focus. You guys are gonna see Bless return in 2027.
Lost Apollo's TV exploded in anger after allegedly losing a $5 million wager when Conor McGregor went down with an injury in the opening moments of the contest. In a furious outburst, he unleashed a barrage of heated insults directed at McGregor while processing the financial loss. Even with the disappointing finish, Max Holloway remains open to the idea of facing McGregor again down the line. He stated that he would be willing to run it back once McGregor has fully healed, though he intends to take time away from the sport to be with his loved ones before making any decisions about a return in 2027, leaving the door open for a potential resolution to their rivalry inside the cage at some point in the future. That wraps up today's coverage. Share your perspective on Conor McGregor's tragic return, and whether you believe the UFC should immediately schedule a rematch with Max Holloway. Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and activate notifications so you never miss our latest mixed martial arts content.